Show.
And another great day in this greatest nation on God's green earth, though not a great day if you care about the future of American politics. Why do I say that? Because I think the debate last night was a great big disaster for Republicans. No, it wasn't a disaster. Was it a great big victory for Joe Biden? Not even close. Will Republicans end up gaining because of the debate? I believe that we will, though of course not nearly as spectacularly as we gained from Mitt Romney's triumphant debate against Barack Obama. The reason it's not a good day for American politics is because anyone who watched that thing last night needed a shower, maybe several showers, maybe some disinfectant. It was disgusting, frankly. Not because of anything that Paul Ryan did. Paul Ryan deserves all kinds of credit and admiration for keeping his cool, acting like a gentleman, acting like a public servant. It was disgusting because a barrier was breached. And I'll tell you what the barrier is. It's something I've written about at the website because I feel this very profoundly. I do care about the rituals of American politics. It's something that I love. It's something we all should love because it served our country very, very well for many years. I mean, I know it's a joke when in heated Senate debates, and they did this even before the Civil War when they went out and started shooting at each other just a few weeks later. They would often refer to my friend, the honorable gentleman from Virginia, or the honorable... But, okay, those things are kind of silly, but they're worth preserving. It's part of what allows us to function as a representative republic. And last night, for the first time ever, you had one of the candidates, his name is Biden. He is, for a few more weeks, the Vice President of the United States. Not just behaving like a clown, everyone expected that, but showing contempt for the process and degrading it and insulting it. Here's the basic point. Democrats have a nasty tendency to label Republicans that they don't like, which is basically any Republican, as a joke. This goes all the way back to, well, it goes back to President Ford. And President Ford was a brilliant guy. He was. He graduated from Yale Law School, had an outstanding academic record. He was pretty much successful at everything he did. And they turned President Ford into a stumblebum and a clown and a dolt and a dunce. And of course they did the same thing to Dan Quayle when he was put on the ticket with George Herbert Walker Bush. And they did the same thing to President Bush. And they did the same thing to Sarah Palin. Now, all of these people participated in televised debates, just like Paul Ryan did last night. But none of their opponents, in any one of a great number of debates, Ford debated Carter 3 times, and Ford made a terribly embarrassing mistake in his first debate that year, 1976. He said there's no Soviet domination of Eastern Europe, and then he repeated it, and it was a stupid thing to say. Jimmy Carter didn't laugh at it. Jimmy Carter didn't snicker. Jimmy Carter didn't roll his eyes. Jimmy Carter expressed no disrespect at all. He was debating the President of the United States. It was a serious matter. He didn't laugh or grimace or snicker and did none of the stupid stuff that Joe Biden did last night. And by the way, when Dan Quayle was debated by Lloyd Benson, he became the victim of the most devastating zinger in the history of televised debates. Remember when I knew John Kennedy was a friend of mine, Jack Kennedy was a friend of mine, and Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy. Ouch! Did Lloyd Benson smile or laugh or dismiss Dan Quayle when he delivered that line? No, he delivered it with sort of a sorrowful tone. You can hear it. That was very effective. He never laughed at Dan Quayle. When Al Gore debated Dan Quayle 4 years later, he did it with the utmost respect. And even when Al Gore was running for president, and he got in trouble because he sighed and shook his head a little bit at George W. Bush, that lost him ground. He realized it was disrespectful. He didn't laugh. He didn't say, that's a lot of malarkey. He didn't say, that's a lot of stuff. He didn't behave like Joe Biden. And yes, Joe Biden, the same Joe Biden, when he was debating Sarah Palin, he behaved like a perfect gentleman. Of course, he had to. He was debating the first female GOP nominee ever. And he called her Governor Palin. He didn't call her Sarah. He didn't belittle her. He didn't laugh at her or snicker or chortle or titter or interrupt.